welcome back to Rise Camera Action. I'm your host as always, Geoff Gaudet. Today I'm joined with a good friend of mine. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Laura Young. I live in Greece and I've known Geoff for a couple years now.
Okay, so can you actually tell the listeners and watchers right now what you do in Korea? And how we met?
Okay. Gosh, maybe I don't remember which shoot we met on, but I'm an actor and I met Geoff on a shoot.
Yeah.
Since worked with him many times.
Yeah. So I invited Laura here today because her and I have a similar perspective about how the entertainment industry is now working kind of sold.
Double check.
I've been doing it for a few years. You know, in the entertainment like 4 or 5 years. How about you?
I started dabbling like 10 years ago, but I didn't get serious about it until probably like 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did have like my first experience maybe 10 years, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I did a travel episode for Arirang, and it was just me and my Australian friend. He got me into it. He gave me the actor's bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously, how long, like more focus, how long have you been doing it?
4 years.
4 years? Okay. I think, yeah, that's where we met. Where did we first meet? It was, I think, that Samsung commercial. We were like a couple, or was that beforehand?
Oh, that might have been the first one. Yeah, it was a very cold day in Incheon.
Yeah, a cold day. We were just
You were wearing your usual lumberjack flannel.
So for that we were just in the background. It was like kind of like coming out. You and I were husband or wife or boyfriend girlfriend coming out of the subway. It was very quick, pretending it was New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've been on other shoots since then.
Yeah.
Like
the moon.
The moon. Oh, we were on the moon. Then we did last year. We did RM Still Life music video together.
Yeah. Was that last year? Yeah.
Yeah. That was last year, as well as we also. I think you, your daughter, and I were like on a.
Yes.
Yeah. So actually one reason I invited her too here is because she also has children in the entertainment industry, so she could give some insight to maybe some parents that might want to have their children exposed to entertainment.
Yep.
But so I'm 41 years old. How old are you, my lady?
A lady never tells.
Okay.
I will say I'm younger than you.
You're younger than me, but you're not the 20-year age where the most.
I'm in my 30s.
Okay. But so one thing I want to talk to is like right now, because we're not the ideal casting type for the casting agencies and the models. How do you feel about that? Like what have you experienced since in the last 4 years? Struggles or joys?
Honestly, it's weird, but I feel like even though I'm a woman getting older in the entertainment business, I'm actually getting more work than when I was younger because they're able to cast me in different roles.
Yep.
And to be honest, there's less competition.
Right.
Maybe for you, there's a lot of 40-year-old men, but there's not as many older women who are working as actors in Korea who are foreigners.
Right. There is. So
it's kind of opposite of like, what you would hear about in like Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for those, there's less roles, but the competition for them is also less.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have spoken to some younger female actresses, and they're in their 20s, and they're talking about how it's hard to find jobs, and I told them like, well, I'm not going to be frank. There's so many female actresses here because what happens is there's a lot of university students, mostly female, that come to Korea wanting to experience the Korean lifestyle, but then decide, hey, now that I have my degree, what's an easy way for me to stay in the country?
Yeah.
And that will be like modeling, singing, and all that. So yeah, in the 20-something, I think that you're right with there being a lot of competition for females, but now that you're in your dirty 30s.
Yeah, but I mean, talk to me when I'm in my 40s because, it could be worse again.
Well, I also see like casting posts like for silver model.
I do. I see agents are always asking me like, oh, do you know any like 60-year-olds? And I don't.
Yeah.
Well, not women anyways.
So what are the roles that you're getting right now?
Basically like mom
Mm-hmm.
and like white collar worker. So doctor, lawyer, teacher, and mom.
Oh, see, I would love to get into that whole parent casting thing because there's some good money there.
I'm surprised that you're not being cast as a parent.
Well, like some of my friends that are much more taller and much more handsome than I, but a similar age, they get cast as the father roles. I'm more like a unique image, so I'm more the goofy uncle. So I don't.
There's not too many roles for the uncle.
Oh, yeah, well-
in those like Samsung commercials.
Oh man! It's even. I went to a Samsung audition a month ago, and basically the first casting was, "Can you send us a video of you dancing?" So what I did was I just went on TikTok and I looked at the Wednesday, the Wednesday Netflix.
Yeah.
I just did the whole dance. I did that. And I submitted that. And
Did you get the job?
I made it to the second round. Now I showed up and they didn't have they were still like dabbling with the image, the storyboard of the casting. I showed up and it was me, the father, the goofy father. Then they had like an acrobat contortionist that could do the splits and a one-handed headstand, and then they had a professional like hip hop dancer.
Yeah.
Guess who got the role?
The hip hop dancer.
Ding dong dang. Because the concept that I showed up and there had to be like a choreographed dance scene with a female in a bed, as well as they wanted me to
A
do
choreographed dancing with a female in a bed?
yeah, so like laying down and just do like almost like
Okay.
synchronized swimming.
Okay,
Can you
okay,
imagine
okay,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, like a synchronized dance with the couple in a bed, then a hip hop dance, and then a freestyle dance.
Yeah.
And freestyle, and the hip hop dance, was a female K-pop dance. So I just blew.
I mean, in that case, it's like amazing that you made it that far, right?
I mean, I get so far, but then I get let down at the very end.
Well, I take it you've had no formal dance training?
No.
Or am I wrong?
I have no formal.
So, there you
but
go.
I at least put my heart into it.
That's all that should matter.
Yeah. But I would love to have these special roles. So actually, in the span of the 10 years, what has been like a project that you've taken part on that you've really enjoyed? A role? Have you had a major like speaking role from a drama, a movie?
I've never had a major speaking role in a drama
Okay.
or a movie. I've had short speaking roles
Okay.
in dramas and movies. And
Okay.
honestly, that is always like very exciting. I can't think of like something that was like especially
Oh, really?
awesome.
Wow.
I'm sure I'll think of it tomorrow or when I leave here.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I should have given you a little bit of prep, but like we did do the moon together, so that was like a week.
That was really cool. Yeah, I just saw actually that is coming out this summer.
Okay.
Finally. And I had like one line in that.
Yeah.
And that was really nice because I wasn't expecting to get a line. I was just cast as extra.
Yeah.
And then they asked me, to have like a small role with one line. And so that was really cool. But I was terrified.
Okay.
Because you saw it was a huge shoot. And my line was speaking to the main actress. I forget her name, but she's very famous.
I'm horrible with, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and so my line was speaking to her, and she was so nice, but of course it's so terrifying.
Yeah.
And it was me and Marco who had a line in the scene. You know Marco.
Yeah.
And they gave us only about an hour to prepare. We each had one line, but it was relatively technical because it was about like we were supposed to work for NASA.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a simple line. So we were like all stressed out trying to memorize it.
Okay.
Go there. We're getting ready to shoot. The main actress comes out, and they tell us to switch our lines.
Okay. So his line became yours, and yours became his? Okay.
So I felt, so that was
Okay.
maybe not my most amazing experience,
Yeah.
but it really I'll never forget it.
Well, it'll go on your actor's reel, I'm sure.
Yeah, hopefully it didn't get cut. We'll see.
Yeah. Now, actually, piggybacking on that experience, you said that you were cast as an extra, right?
Yes.
And then they gave you a line.
Yeah, but I did get a credit and paid extra.
You get okay, yeah, that's what I wanted because that's what
Yes.
happens a lot. There's kind of like shady castings, and they're going, okay, you're an extra, but then you like now like we're finding out that there's different levels and different payments, and we're making a lot of people more informed in the community.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like tomorrow I'm like extra. So that's just in the background. I'm
You're
out
always
of
the extra.
Well, I'm not. No. I get image roles a lot too because actually I look unique, as you said. So I don't look.
Say that.
Okay. Well, maybe I wanted you to say that. But
Jeff, you look unique today.
Thank you. But the thing was, there's the extra role, then there's the image role. So an
Yeah.
image role is basically a character that doesn't have a line, but is always is interacting with the main or the sub main in a role, and then there's a line role, which
Yes.
is even more. So and then there's actually like a character, like a sub character, like payment. So there's different categories. But what was happening during COVID, I experienced a lot. Maybe you could agree. It was there's a lot of castings for extra, and then you show up, and they said, "Oh, can you read this one line?" And then you say,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they had planned it the whole time.
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
And then or can you be this one special character? And then it turns out like so and I said, well, you go, hey, well, I'm doing much more. Like, I think I should get more money.
Yeah.
Or even in action movies, you don't do the action movies. Sometimes there's a
love to do the
action
action
scene.
movies.
There's some action scenes where you have
Yeah.
to get like harnessed up, and like there's the squibs, the blood explosions that happen.
Are you not being paid more than a regular
Well,
extra for that?
we asked that, and they'll say, "Oh, we'll talk to production," and that never happens. Have you experienced something like that too?
Well, no, I mean, when I did get upgraded to small role, they, I did ask them, I said, so am I going to get paid more? And they did say that exact line, we'll talk to production.
Yeah.
But then they came back to me and they said, yeah.
Yeah, well,
But then they didn't tell me how much, and I just it was like a surprise,
Yeah.
when I got paid.
Well, this was actually, I've actually given credit to this one agency too, because they're one of the better casting agencies, Jenny, right?
Yeah.
So they gave you the extra money. Other ones, they'll say, oh, I'll talk to production, and then that's the end of that conversation, and they actually don't.
Yeah, I think that the important thing is that you need to say something.
Yeah.
Even if you don't get it in the end and you decide not to make a big deal out of it because you want to work with them again,
Yeah.
Just bringing it to their attention that you know that you should be getting more is a good thing.
Yeah.
So they don't think they can, pull the wool over.
Or that's what they do, yeah, they pull the wool over their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what happens too is normally when casting for foreigners, it's the last thing that they think about, and we're just an addition.
Yeah.
So even in the script, they don't actually even they just put foreigner blank sentence, and then on the shoot, then they say, okay, this is the line we want to give you, or oh, we actually have a line to give someone at the very last moment. The preparation into the foreign preparation is limited.
And I think that's tough for us because, in that sense, we're not set up for success.
Yeah.
Like, if we had the lines ahead of time, we could be much better actors. But sometimes we're thrown lines at the last moment.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about my situation because that was just one line, and I should be able to handle that, and I did. But I'm talking about when you have, a full-page monologue or whatever, and they're giving it to you when you show up on set or the night before.
Yeah.
In that sense, there's no way you can do the best job you could do.
Oh, I have an anecdote about an audition I shit the bed on. Was it happened actually.
Is that a Canadian expression?
Shit the bed? I don't know. It was for an audition, and they wanted me to be. It was for 2 roles.
Yeah.
A South American tribal chief.
Clearly.
Or South American president.
Was this for Suriname?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe. But so I memorized. So and then they said, oh, and then come in with the third monologue. So my third monologue, I did the monologue from Good Will Hunting from Robin Williams, talking about his wife farting in bed, blah, and it showed a range of emotion. But the first one, the tribal chief, I did the whole like chest out and like going, this man is a trespasser. He must go through the trial through the sacred forest to be cleansed of his sins, and blah blah blah. But the second, the presidential one, I wasn't too sure about memorizing the lines because I only had maybe 48 hours to show up. So my friend actually beforehand gave me his copy of the script. So I took it out just in case I wanted to read it.
Yeah.
But as I'm doing the audition, I have the script, but I have it like this, and I'm like, my hand is shaking because I'm trying to fight the urge to actually look at it. So I wasn't 100% prepared, but I'm like going, no, I know the line, and my hand's shaking. I'm like going, don't look at the script, don't look at the script. And then afterwards, like the two casting people videotaped and said, what was that? I'm like, what? Because they're going, are you nervous? I'm like, no. They're going, oh, your hand was shaking. I'm like going, oh no, can I do that again? They're like, no, we're short for time.
No.
Yeah.
So was that recent?
Well, I felt like I was, it was very recent.
So you don't know if you got it yet?
Well, not South American. So the tribal chief, they said good. The president, where I'm like shaking, trying to fight the urge, that was a no.
Okay.
They said, what the hell was that? But then they loved actually the Good Will Hunting because it, like I said, it showed a range of emotions. I went from like serious, like lecturer to like funny to like depression to like to stern.
So you showed your acting range.
Kinda, yeah. I'm hoping that might happen, but anyways, yeah. Because it was the last moment. I felt like a lot of people were like set up to fail that.
Right? Yeah.
But jump in onto another subject. So you actually have children.
Yes, I have 2 kids. They're 7 and 8.
Okay. And they've also have the actor's bug?
They do.
Okay.
Yes, they are also actors, and my daughter also does modeling as well. But they don't work a lot.
Okay, but can you give me your experience? Tell me about what it's like being a mother of actually a child performer.
I think that I did some acting when I was a child as well, so I knew what it was like from a child's perspective.
Yep.
And I was also cast as a mom before I had kids.
Yeah.
So I got to experience how the children are treated on set and how their parents act. I've seen the momager.
The momager?
I've seen the momager in action. So I think I'm kind of rambling, but basically I knew what I was getting into, and the reason that my kids did it is because they wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, granted, my daughter did a commercial when she was 6 months old, and she didn't ask me about that. But I figured she wanted to do it, and she was fine.
Okay.
But yeah, they like it, and I always tell them, they don't have to apply for whatever job, and they always want to. So.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, any excuse to get out of class. But you also said that you did like child acting yourself?
Yeah, not a lot. Not a lot.
Is there anything comparable from the American to the Korean child acting scenes?
I just say that it's far more regulated in America.
In America?
Yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, yeah. It's been. I've been cast as I do get cast as a father in some stuff, but it's only like for small like Kickstarter roles, and the kids are fun to work with.
Yeah.
But you could tell some actresses I've been cast, they don't know how to like interact even with some kids. They don't even. Well, I'm pretty good with kids. Because I also taught English for like 10 years here.
Yes.
So I know all the tricks and the trade. I know how to talk to them at their level, how to have a conversation, how to keep a conversation to even like show interest in them or for them to even have a good time.
Yeah.
But a lot of the actresses that might come, they're like going, hi, what's your name? And like, well, you're a good boy. And that's not what they want to hear.
But I think that also, like, a lot of the responsibility should fall on, like, the production team to make the kids comfortable. Not with I've experienced set where they clearly had no idea how to work with children. They were attempting to work with, like, children and animals together, and they had clearly had no experience with either. And it was just a disaster. And, you know, the kid, it wasn't my kid. The kid was, you know, in tears and like 3 years old, and they're like, you know, freaking out, like, why can't he do this? I'm like, well, he's 3 years old. Like, that's very normal. And it was like, no one on the crew had ever, like, seen a child before, you know? But then on the other hand, that one shoot that you and I did together with my daughter, for, I guess, some, I don't know what it was for, a trailer?
We were doing pitches for like, we were doing like small, like 2-minute videos to pitch for TV concepts.
Yes.
So like, I think one of the roles was I was like a chef that would go into people's refrigerators and make a meal with it. Or something like that.
I don't remember what my role was at all. It was a while ago. But what I do remember is that my daughter was really young, maybe 4 or 5 at the time, and she slept through 90% of the shoot. And I was kind of like stressed out, like, oh my God, she's sleeping, and like, she is not a child that is pleasant when she's woken up, you know? And I was like, they need her for the scene, and she's like passed out. And the director was like, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine, just like let her sleep. I have a kid, it's fine. You know, and like that is not something you experience a lot. So
what I remember is that she kept calling me Santa Claus the whole time.
Little did she know, you do moonlight as Santa Claus.
She's like, are you Santa Claus's friend? I'm like, well, Mommy. She was trying to make like a small little joke saying, oh yeah, I look like Santa Claus, but I couldn't break her heart. About that. Well, it's okay. What else? So so you're getting cast just as a mother and all that?
What?
Are you well, going forward, is there actually some roles that you like to get cast in? Like right now, I think they're in Seoul. They're actually doing the Squid Games 2 casting.
Oh my God, I would like die. I would be so excited. I would love to do something that is not just like mom. Like, I mean, I could still be a mom, but like throw some action or some, you know, like a mom that gets shot, or a mom who gets into a fist fight with somebody, or it would be fun to have a bit more exciting.
So what I'm picturing, what you just said, like maybe like even in a drama, like
it doesn't have to be a mom at all. I'm just saying
the Korean mother versus like the foreign mother, kind of like rivalry and all that. Neighbors and all that.
I think, you know, the guys, the foreign actors who are guys get like some of the more fun roles in a sense, because they get cast in like the military and the action and the mafia. And so that's fun. But wrong. It's also more difficult.
You weren't wrong to point at me for mafia. Because I get the Russian mafia.
You're like a huge gangster.
But yeah, it is very limited. Like now I think about it, like Squid Game season 1, there was Ali, the Pakistani, the Indian contestant in the Squid Games, and he was the one major foreigner, and then the other ones were just the VIPs, but they were all like rich, successful men. Where was the rich, successful woman?
You didn't see? They were naked, standing behind them in body paint.
You don't want to do that?
I don't know why no one asked me. But I wouldn't have.
I actually did.
Speaking of nudity, tell your story.
Oh well, I do like I'm pretty comfortable now with my with my body image. So actually, what enlightened me was like I had like kind of like a breakdown like 5 years ago, and I went to Japan. And I went to one of their like osans, like it was in the center of Osaka, and it was a capsule hotel, but it was an osan. So I just like spent the whole week just like naked in front of Japanese men, just swimming around. And then it was maybe my second last day that while I was like going out to have a couple drinks with some of the people I met, and I'm walking by the front desk, and I have to like leave one of my tickets, my key to my locker.
Yeah.
And then I give it to the agent behind the counter, and then I do a 180, and I look over, and there's a CCTV, all the TVs, and you can see all the naked Japanese man, and I'm just
Really?
like, and I'm like going, have you ever watched that? And she's like going, we try not to look.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, like that Osan had, all the staff was actually female, so it helped me with my self-conscious, like my
Self-confidence.
my confidence. Yeah, it
Because
helped.
you realized you'd already been filmed for a whole week naked.
Yeah. So, and it's not that I'm not that ugly. It's not that disgusting.
No.
Yeah,
I just
so-
wanted you to tell your story about the sauna.
Well,
No,
yeah,
not that,
that was
the-
Carter. But then last year I actually did there was an app, and it was like kind of a social meetup drinking game app called Jan, and for that I got little information. I was cast, I was confirmed a month beforehand.
Yeah.
And then
That's shocking.
and then 2 days before, they said, okay, here's the storyboard, and you're basically sitting in a bathtub in your bathing suit. And I'm like, that wasn't what I
Did you
agreed
immediately
to.
start doing push-ups?
Well, I was already done. I'm like, that's not. I'm like, hey, this is not what I agreed to.
Yeah.
And I asked for more money, and they said, sorry, that they've already, the budget. This is also the lie. They tell you, sorry, the budget's already been established, so you can't get any more money.
Yep.
The bright side of that was actually the ad agency actually a year later tried to repackage it and tried to sell it to an American company. So and originally this commercial was in Korean, but they dubbed over it in English.
Okay.
So, and then I tried to contact actually the agent, the cast, and they're going, sorry, no, it's just like, it wasn't allowed, like, they're not doing anything outside of what you agreed to. And I said, well, I agreed to only 3 months use.
Yeah.
And this is now a year later, and they're reusing it on the internet. And they're like going, oh, well, and I said, well, what did it say on the contract? And she's like, oh, there was no contract. I'm like, you
That's
fucking-
another issue.
That's you fucking bitch. I'm like, but then I'm like going, oh, there's no contract. I don't even need to talk to you now because these image rights belong to me. You didn't even do the freaking work to be in case something else happened. So actually, I contacted the company directly.
Yeah.
They had a LinkedIn page, so I just emailed.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just said, hey, I'm the actor in this commercial
yeah.
you just released. I did not agree to this use. It's been a year later. I only agreed to a 30-month usage in the Korean domestic market. And then they're like, oh, sorry. I threatened to actually just flag it and have it taken down off
Yeah.
YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And they said, oh, no, okay. No, please, we sorry. Like on here, let us, like on, what if we wanted to use it for 6 months? What would you want? I'm like, well, I can't really. Wasn't in like a strong place of negotiation because this was through another agency, and then I also had my sponsor was in deal, so I had to do it directly. So I think I only asked for like an extra $700, which was actually double the original amount that they paid me. But I think I probably could have got up most of like $2 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because I wasn't in a strong negotiating situation or stance, I couldn't really. Yes.
And then I am seeing it more often. I would say this past year, I'm seeing contracts
Okay,
more
cool.
often. And that's still probably like 40% of the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like 10% maybe.
I could be overshooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wish there was more contracts, because.
It seems the contracts they want us to sign are more like the NDAs
Yeah.
than the actual like contract for using our image.
Yeah, that's there is about my first one. It was more of an NDA, and I like okay, and then I tried to talk, and then Again, there was like shuffling in the schedule. It should have been like a 3-day, but they just compacted it into a 1-day shoot. And then I still had like a 1-day rate and then some overtime, but it would have been over the 3 days. Basically, I got 2 days pay for the 1 day instead of the 3 days. But then I'm like, ooh. Then I saw like, I got to the set. I'm like going, oh man, there was so much more money like invested in everything. And then I asked someone else, hey, by the way, what did you do? So, sorry, I signed the contract. I can't say. I'm like going, oh, you're even getting double what I am getting.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And it's hard to talk to other actors about it on set too. It's a delicate subject.
Well, thankfully, like I've been like kind of outspoken this year with some chat rooms on Kakao where there's been some shady agents or even actors of shady agents trying to underbid other agents, and I've spoken out about it. Like, don't take these jobs.
Did you see that post just yesterday asking for? I don't know what they were asking for, but some girl whose name starts with a K posted it, and she asked for actors, and she didn't. For a public safety announcement about seatbelts. Yeah, and then I messaged her. I said I'm available, and she said, "Oh, it's just going to be a short shoot." So, do you know how much she offered me?
What?
Take a guess.
120. 80?
50.
50 for
50,001.
for a camera.
About $40 US.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was like an unspecified. That's not even per hour, which isn't enough. But like we're talking, whole day. She's like, oh, it's going to be really easy and there's no lines, so.
No, it's like at that, like that's an hourly model rate at least. If you think it's a.
I mean, if you think about like, you could be there for 8 hours. Like that's not even minimum wage for like any job.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I've shit on this this whole TV show Surprise. So like this TV show has been around for 18 years. They have not changed their rate of pay over the 18 years, which is you get there at 7 a.m. and then at dinner time is when overtime kicks. So so for the first 12 hours, you make 80,000 won, and then overtime is ochanon, $5 additional for every overtime. And sometimes it goes until 2 a.m. and you don't get home till like 3 in the morning, doesn't finish to 2 a.m., which is bonkers.
I know a guy who got paid 35,000 won for his day on Surprise.
Oh my.
And he also had to like provide his own transportation to Paju or wherever they were shooting.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because an agent took his other $45 or whatever.
Yeah. That's also why I would like to have contracts too, because there are a lot of middlemen that they're taking a bigger slice of what the actually production offers for casting.
It's a really like convoluted situation because if you think about it from an agent's perspective, like of course they want to take the bigger cut, and if they can, if there's actor A and actor B and one will work for much cheaper than the other, they're going to go with that one because they can make more money.
Well, yeah, but that's the catch-22. If you're taking quantity over quality, and that's what I really hate, because actually, yeah, there are these like low-paying agencies that will just take the cheapest offer, but then it kills the market because there's such low quality. You have, with Surprise, you have people with heavy Russian accents pretending they're from New York City. Oh, hello, my name is Ryan. Yes, go Yankees. The Nets are going to win the pennant this year.
Yeah.
And bullshit like that. So it's.
And I've even run into people on set who are working as an actor, and they're like a student or a tourist, and they said like they don't even care about getting paid. They're accepting $0.
Oh yeah,
just for the opportunity to be in a music video.
Yeah.
And that's damaging to the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm trying to find like someone that's actually done that. I'm in a future episode to talk about like why they might do that, because they're cutting the nose off to spite their face. They're like taking low pay and killing the average wage for a field that they want to get into. And so
I think in their case, it might not be a field that they want to get into, but they're just maybe a little starstruck and want to be up close and personal with famous people. And so, you know, it's more like just a fun thing to do one day.
Oh, I've seen, oh, well, yeah, that's another thing. I've been on sets where they've had to like basically kick all the foreigners off because there's like so many, they had like maybe 30 foreigners, and then the main actor comes on and they get all starstruck. And
Oh,
they're told,
really?
and they're told like, hey, wait in the waiting room, and then they sneak out and they try to take pictures.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just common sense. You shouldn't do that.
And then they're kicked. They're going, okay, everyone back on the bus at the bottom of the hill and wait for production. And then they're like, okay, and then they're dragging their feet and they're slowly looking and trying to. And I'm like going, guys, seriously, stop fucking around. This is a job. You're being paid, and you're being very unprofessional.
Yeah. I think that, are you starstruck ever?
No, I have been starstruck one time, and I totally kicked myself for that. So there was, what's this like? When I first came to Korea, there was a Korean movie called Na Ne Umyeong, like You Are My Destiny, and I watched that with my girlfriend in a DVD bong, and we cried. So I met him actually a few months ago, and I said, "Oh, 형, like 진짜 좋아해요. Like 한국에 처음 왔을 때, 형이
You tell him you cried over him?
네, 진짜 좋아했어요." And he's like, "Oh, 고맙습니다." I'm like going, oh, why did I do that?
I mean, if you were really starstruck, you wouldn't have been able to talk to him, though.
Well, yeah, but then, you know, like him and I actually talked to him too later on, like in Korea, because thankfully my Korean's strong enough, so I actually had a conversation with him. Like he was like co-directing it, so he was giving directions, and then like afterwards he says, "Oh, can you do this?" I said, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." He's like, "Okay," and then I actually like I asked it was like for a Russian military. So I asked my Russian friend, like, what's like the Russian word for like quick, fast, and they're like, barista. So,
Barista.
Yeah. So I'm like, and they're like, just like coffee, like coffee shop. I'm like, okay. And I go there, and then he comes up. He's like, oh, did you speak Russian? What did you say? I said, oh, barista. It's the Russian word for quick. He's like, oh, and he like taps me on the shoulder. Good job. But I haven't really been that starstruck. Like when we did the RM, the BTS member, the music video, he was talking to all the 20-somethings, and they were just wooning over him about like the concept, the poetry behind his song Still Life. He's like, I was in a museum and I saw this picture of flowers, and like they were alive, but they're really actually dead, but it's a still life photo, so they're still life. And I just
But like, that's really...
I had to turn around and cover my mouth because it was such a giggly thing.
But, I mean, I wasn't starstruck because I actually, I mean, obviously I've heard of BTS, but I didn't really...
Oh.
And I like their songs, but I'm not like a huge fan, and so I didn't really know anyone's name in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I didn't really know who he was before that. But I felt like he was so kind and like down to earth and was talking to everybody, and that doesn't always happen. So
oh yeah, I've been on some sets with some shitty musicians. What's his name? Sung-lee, that was from Big Bang. I could talk bad about him because now he's in prison for doing something much worse. But he was just like yelling.
So maybe because he's in prison, you shouldn't talk badly about him. He'll be out one day, Geoff.
Well, he was very bossy, and then he just actually stopped the whole shoot because he wanted to have like a fan meetup.
Really?
Yeah. So he was trying to go. He was focused on like his solo career, but it was like he wasn't really considerate of a lot of the people, and like.
Well, I think more often what happens is just like the second their scene is done, they're rushing off, you know, to their dressing room or their trailer or whatever. So when the actors take the time to, like make small talk, with us. Yeah.
But
it's really nice.
But also like I don't also like rush them. Like I don't also ask, hey, can I have a photo with you?
Yeah.
It's not really that important to me.
Yeah.
The story is better. The story is better than the photo. Like,
yeah, and you'll be in the finished product.
Wow, well, great. Thank you very much, Laura. Is there anything you'd like to tell people before we wrap it up? I do have a social media. Let's plug your social media.
Oh, yes. You can find me on Instagram at Laura F. Young.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm Instagram and Twitter at Comedy Jeffy. That's comedy, COMEDY, Jeffy, GEOFFY. Okay, well, thank you guys very much for tuning into Rice Camera Action. I've been Jeff.
And I'm Laura.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.